This is Mallory Mead with Southern California Aquatics, and this is a little bit on pre-race strategy. I talk a lot about how the race doesn't start the day of, that you should do as much research about the race course as possible before you even get to the venue. This map is kind of an example of how you would do that. This is an actual race map from USA Triathlon's 2011 National Championships in Burlington, Vermont that was held today. And it looks very different from most courses that you would see in a triathlon. Most courses would be a triangular course. They would start in one place, go around a buoy, and another buoy, and then come back and end in the first buoy. So the first thing that I notice about this course is that it's nothing like that, that it's actually what we call a point-to-point course, which means your start is here, and your finish, which would be the transition area for the bike, is over here. First of all, that would cause logistical issues. Having your bike, dropping it off in the transition area and then making your way back to the starting area would be your first thing that you would have to tackle. Hopefully the race organizers would call this to your attention and you wouldn't have to figure this out yourself. But it's always good to be prepared. The second thing I notice about this map on first glance is that there's two different kinds of buoys. There's these orange circular buoys here, and then there's yellow triangle buoys here, 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 and also one more orange round buoy here. It's not that they didn't have enough yellow triangular buoys or that they didn't have enough orange circular buoys. These are two different buoys with two different courses of action that you must do when you come upon them. The yellow triangular buoys are turn buoys. Unfortunately, the distance between this turn buoy and the start, all the way over here, is a pretty long distance and could be really hard to sight. And that's why they dropped these orange round buoys here in between. These are what we call navigational buoys. You do not actually have to take action when you come up to these buoys. You simply use them to side off of and stay on the correct side of these buoys. The correct side of the buoys, according to this map, is to the left of the buoys, keeping the buoy to your right. Same thing here. Here, and here. After this second navigational buoy, the course changes a little bit, and that suddenly you are now keeping the buoys to your other side. The buoys should be on your left, and you stay on the right of them. So here, and here. So always make sure you're staying on the correct side. Count the buoys. Know how many buoys there are. On the first leg out, there's two. One navigational, one turn. On the second leg, there's one turn. On the third leg, there's a navigational and a turn buoy. Fourth leg, there's simply a turn buoy. And then the last part of the swim goes inside, and this is a breakwater right here, which should be pretty easy to sight. And then you're shooting directly from the turn buoy here into this area here through the breakwater, which should be pretty obvious. I don't know exactly what this area looks like from the map, but it should be pretty obvious what it is. So you need to know how many buoys and which ones you turn at, which are obvious based on the type of buoy. So there's some other things that I can tell from looking at this map. I can tell that there's going to be a few critical points in the race where other competitors who did not do their research may get messed up. The first critical point would be right here at this orange buoy. If you weren't paying attention, you didn't know how many buoys were on the way out, you might get excited, see this buoy here, and think that you are supposed to do a right turn right there. That's the first point. If that person does not correct themselves after that mistake, they will be disqualified from the race. If they do correct themselves, they're going to swim at least partially out of their way before they figure it out and get back on course. The second major critical point would be right here. That is exactly where you go from staying to the left of the buoys to being on the right of the buoys. And I could see that there's probably going to be some competitors that swim right here. They may try and go between the buoys and turn. They may stay just here and just turn past the breakwater. This is a national championship, as I mentioned before, so maybe they won't make any of those mistakes, but you certainly don't want to be the person who does. There's a few things that you can also tell from this map, other than just relative to the buoys. You can tell that there's something right here, and I don't know what it is, but it's likely to be very visible. And the first turn buoy is to the right of this. So if you needed some help beyond this navigational buoy here, you could sight off of the tip of whatever this is and know that your buoy is just to the right of it. You can't tell what would be good to sight off in this direction. However, I can tell that this is maybe right here 100 meters, and so it's not going to be that difficult to see the next buoy. Same thing right here. There's nothing really you need to sight off of because the buoy should be right there. You can see from this map that this is some sort of marina area where boats would be docked. They're probably pretty visible. You should be able to see them from here. If you can't see from there to here, this right here would help you sight, and you would know that this buoy is to the left of it, and this buoy would be right in front of it. And then lastly, you have this breakwater here. You know, you stay to the right of that. Obvious, that should be pretty obvious when you get there, and you know that the end of the swim is right here, directly to the right of that. So I hope that this helps you see the sort of ways you need to look at a race map, the things you need to look out for. You need to count the buoys, know how many there are at all times, know what side of the buoys you need to be on. You need to look at the map and, if possible, see if there's things you can sight off of. You need to know the start and the finish and the shape of the course. And you need to know where the points are that you'd be most likely to screw up, or your competitors would be most likely to screw up. And then avoid those pitfalls if at all possible.